Hello everybody, myself Shailender Kumar, Assistant Professor Jagannath University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Today I am going to discuss on the topic history of new media, social media. There is a no single definition for it because different scholars have used different words to describe it. In layman's term, new media refers to digital or computerized network that aid in the sharing and dissemination of information. The term new media refers to interactive digital media that includes two-way communication and requires some form of computing. New media, according to the business dictionary, is electronic interactive media such as the internet. New media is a catch all term for all forms of electronic communication that have appeared or will appear since the original, mainly text and static picture form of online communication. According to another definition, as a result, new media is essentially a catch-all term for the various forms of electronic communication that have been made possible as a result of the development and advancement of computer technology. In new media, the product is called a website. Every website has an address. To see a website, you need a computer. On every computer, there is an icon called Internet Explorer. You have to click on it, and a new screen opens up. On this, you type an address of the website and it will open up for you. Then you can see and read whatever is posted on the website. New media is known for its ability to involve the audience. This is known as interactivity. Hence, we can say that compared to other media forms, new media has the most evolved feedback system in place. Besides feedback, there are two other things that make new media very special. The first is the way things are written. New media uses a narrative style of writing. A narrative is a story. All of us like to read stories or listen to stories. If serious issues are written in the forms of stories, more people are likely to read them and learn from them. The other special feature of new media is the use of multimedia. As mentioned earlier, whenever stories are supported by cartoons, moving picture, sound, and music, it is called multimedia. New media refers to the latest technology that have emerged in recent years. Some of these technologies have to do with communication, broadcasting, journalism, computers, digitalization, the internet. New media is fundamental to understand the new processes of communication, and it applies to all forms of means of communications. New media is a topic that multidimensional and which includes quite a few features in this extent. The field of online communication comprises all from emails and online conversation to web conferencing and video conferencing. While chats and emails aid you to correspond with individuals without seeing them, videos and web conferencing permits you to connect with people, speak to them, brainstorm, elucidate things to them, and perform a lot more as you see them. Moreover, video and web conferencing facilitate in actual time collaborations and in smarter online communication. Online communications means online connections. Online communications now a day is about sharing up associations, creating a neighborhood, or managing action in previously unbelievable ways. Online communication propose shy people associations to converse with others. It may be easier to communicate online. Since typing on a personal computer is unlike a social situation, there is a reduced amount of anxiety than a face-to-face situation. No matter who you are, where you are from, and what is your gender on the internet, we are all the same. Some newer online communication tools support audio and video communication function. Users can hear and see each other while they are talking. Now, growth of new media, World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is a system of interlinked hypertext documents accessed via the computer. With a web browser, one can view web pages that may contain text, images, videos, and other multimedia and navigate between them via hyperlinks. On March 12, 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, a British computer scientist and former CERN employee, wrote a proposal for what would eventually become the World Wide Web. The 1989 proposal was meant for a more effective CERN communication system, but Berners-Lee eventually realized the concept could be implemented throughout the world. Berners-Lee and Belgian computer scientist Robert proposed in 1990 to use hypertext to link the access information of various kinds as a web of nodes in which the user can browse at will. In this way, the first web service was designed and tested and literally confined as World Wide Web. Web 1.0. Web 1.0 was first implementation of the web, and it lasted from 1989 to 2005. It was defined as Web of Information Connections. According to the innovator of World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee considered the web as read-only web. It provides very little interaction where consumer can exchange the information together, but it was not possible to interact with the website. The role of the web was very passive in nature. Web 1.0 was referred as the first generation of World Wide Web, which was basically defined as it is an information space in which the terms of internet referred to as resources are identified by global identifier called as uniform resources identifiers URIs. First generation web was era static pages and content delivery purpose only. In other words, the early web allowed us to search for information and read it. There was very little in the way of user interaction or content contribution. Characteristics. Web 1.0 technologies includes core web protocols HTML, HTTP, and URI. The major characteristics of Web 1.0 are as follows. They have read-only content, establish an online presence, and make their information available to anyone at any time. It includes static web pages and use basic hypertext markup language. Limitation. The major limitations of Web 1.0 are as follow. The Web 1.0 pages can only be understood by humans. They do not have machine compatible content. The webmaster is solely responsible for updating users and managing the content of website. Lack of dynamic representation to acquire only static information. No web console were available to performing dynamic events. Web 2.0 is the second generation of web. It was defined by Dale in 2004 as a read write web. The concept began with a conference brainstorming session between O'Reilly and Medial Live International. The technologies of Web 2.0 allow assembling and managing large global crowds with common interest in social interactions. Timur really defines Web 2.0 on his website as follows. Web 2.0 is the business revolution in the computer industry caused by the move to the internet as platform and an attempt to understand the rules for success on that new platform. Chief among those rules in this, build applications that harness network effects to get better the more people use them. Web 2.0 facilitates major properties like participatory, collaborative, and distributed practices, which enable formal and informal sphere of daily activities on going on web. In other terms, it resembles major distinct characteristics of web, include relationship technologies, participatory media, and a social digital technology, which in turn can also define as the wisdom web. People centric web and participative web is taken into concern and which facilitates reading and writing on the web, which makes the web transaction bi-directional. Web 2.0 is a web as a platform where users can leave many of the controls they have used in Web 2.0. In other words, the user of Web 2.0 has more interaction with less control. Web 2.0 is not only a new version of Web 1.0, but it also implies to flexible web design, creative reuse, updates, collaborative content creation, and modification in Web 2.0 that should be considered as one of the outstanding features of the Web 2.0 is to support collaboration and to help gather collective intelligence rather Web 1.0 characteristics. Web 2.0 is instead a label coined by Timo Reilly and associates to reference the transition of the World Wide Web to a new phase of use and service development. The categorization can be used to elaborate on the understanding of Web 2.0 achieved through varied definitions. Technology centric definition. Web has become a platform with software above the level of a single device. Technology that is associated with blogs, wikis, podcasts, RSS feeds, etc. Business centric definition, a way of actually software and businesses. The business revolution in the computer industry caused by a move to internet as platform and an attempt to understand the rules and success on that of new media. User centric definition. The social web is often used to characterize sites that consist of communication, content management, and new ways of communication and interaction between users. Web applications that facilitate collective knowledge production, social networking, and increase user to user information exchange. Limitation. Sometimes it may happen that if the new technology meet expectations of the mass user at large, there may be a chance that these technologies have may face lot of consequences from external environment which may suppress or limit the flow of technology in presenting results which might not be feasible and may lead to degrade the performance of the technology as a whole. Constant iteration cycle of change and updates to service. Ethical issues concerning build and usage of Web 2.0. Interconnectivity and knowledge sharing between community platforms across boundaries are still limited. Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is one of the modern and evolutionary topics associated with the following initiative of Web 2.0. Web 3.0 was first coined by John Markoff of the New York Times, and he suggested Web 3.0 as third generation of web in 2006. Web 3.0 can be also started as executable web. The basic idea of Web 3.0 is to define structured data and link them in order to more effective discovery, automation, integration, and reuse across various applications. It is able to improve data management, support accessibility of mobile internet, stimulate creativity and innovation, encourage factor of globalization phenomena, enhance customer satisfaction, and help to organize collaboration in social web. Web 3.0 is also known as semantic web. Semantic web was thought up by Tim Berners-Lee, inventor of the World Wide Web. There is a dedication term at the World Wide Web working to improve, extend, and standardize the system. Languages, publications, and tools have already been developed. Web 3.0 is a web where the concept of website or web page disappear, where data isn't owned by instant share, where services show different views or the same data. Those services can be applications like browsers, virtual world, or everything else, and have to be focused on content and personalization. And both will be reached by using vertical search. Web 3.0 supports worldwide database and web-oriented architecture, which is earlier stage was described as a web of document. It deals mainly with static HTML documents, but dynamically rendered pages and alternative format should follow the same concept layout standards. Whenever possible, the links are between documents or part of them. The web of documents are designed for human consumption in which primary objects are documents and links are between documents. Semantics of content and links are implicit, and the degree of structure between objects is very low. The proponents of the web of data envision much of the world's data being interrelated and openly accessible to the public. This vision is analogous in many ways of the web of documents of common knowledge. But instead of making documents and media openly accessible, the focus is on making data openly accessible. The web of data hosts a variety of data sets that includes encyclopedic facts, drug and protein data, metadata on music, books, and scholarly articles, social network representations, geospatial information, and many other types of information. In some ways like a global database that most its features are included. Semantics of content and links are preset, and the degree of structure between objects is high based on RDF model. Semantic web is a collaborative movement led by international standards body, the World Wide Web Consortium. According to the W3C, the semantic web provides a common framework that allows data to be shared and reused across application, enterprise, and community boundaries. The main purpose of the semantic web is driving the evolution of the current web by enabling users to find, share, and combine information more easily. The semantic web, as originally envisioned, is a system that enables machines to understand and respond to complex human requests based on their meaning, such as understanding requires that the relevant information sources be semantically structured. Tim Berners-Lee originally expressed the semantic web as follows: if HTML and the web made all the online documents look like one huge book, RDF schema and internet languages will make all the world look like one huge database. Tim Berners-Lee proposed a layered architecture for semantic web that often using a diagram with many variations. The development of the semantic web proceeds in steps, each step building a layer on top of another. Shows the layer cake of the semantic web, which describes the main layers of the semantic web design and vision. Unicode and URI. Unicode is used to represent of any character uniquely, whatever this character was written by any language, and uniform resource identifier URI is unique identifiers for resources of all. The functionality of Unicode and URI could be described as the provision of a unique identification mechanism within the long language stack for a semantic web. XML. It is a language that lets one write structured web document with a user-defined vocabulary. XML is particularly suitable for sending documents across the web. XML has no built-in mechanism to convey the meaning of the user's new text to other users. RDF, Resource Description Framework, is a basic data model like the entity relationship model for writing simple statements about web objects. A scheme for defining information on the web. RDF provides the technology for expressing the meaning of terms and concepts in a form that computers are readily process. RDF schema. It provides a predefined basic type system for RDF model. RDF schema provides modeling primitives for organizing web objects into hierarchies. Key primitives are classes and properties, subclass and subproperty relationships, and domain and range restrictions. Ontology. The ontology layer describes properties and the relationship between properties and different. Ontology can be defined as a collection of terms used to describe a specific domain with the ability of interference. Logic layer. It is used to enhance the ontology language further and to follow the writing of application. Proof layer. It involves the actual deductive process as well as the representation of proofs in web languages and proof validation. Trust layer. It will emerge through the use of digital signatures and other kind of knowledge based on recommendations by trusted agents or on rating and certification agencies and consumer bodies. Semantic web is not limited to published data on the web. It is about making links to connect related data. Berners-Lee introduced a set of rules have become known as a linked data principles to publish and connect data on the web in 2007. Use URIs as names for things. Use HTTP URIs to look up those names. Provide useful information using the standards RDF by look up a URI. Include links to other URIs to discover more things. Data providers can add their data to a single global data space by publishing data on the web according to the linked data principles. Characteristics. The major characteristics of Web 3.0 as marked by Nova Spucket SaaS SaaS business model, open source software platform, distributed database or what called as the World Wide Database, web personalization, resource pooling, intelligent web. Semantic web faces several challenges, issues. Richness. The World Wide Web contains many billions of pages. Reduction in data may occur, which has not yet been to eliminate all semantic duplicate terms. Vagueness. These arises from the vaguenesses of user queries of concepts represented by content providers of matching query terms to provide terms and of trying to combine different knowledge bases with overlapping but subtly different concepts. Inconsistency. These are logical contradictions which will inevitably arise during the development of large ontologies and when ontologies from separate sources are combined. Deceit. This is when the producer of the information is initially misleading and the consumer of the information. Comparison. The main difference between Web 1.0, Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 is that Web 1.0 is considered as read-only web targets on creativity of producer. Web 2.0 targets on content creativity of users and producers, while Web 3.0 targets on linked datasets. Effects and implications of new media. There are several forms of online communication that can be used in online or blended courses. It is helpful to having a good understanding of how these various forms of communication work. Some forms of communication are known as synonymous mode, meaning that all persons involved in a communication must be online at the same time. The exact opposite of synonymous is asynchronous communication, where everyone does not need to be online at the same time. Some forms of communication can happen both. Below are some examples of type of online communication and that can be used in Canvas course. Chat is a kind of synonymous communication and offers the possibility for people to connect in real time. Some teachers may use chats to real time or live workplace hours, tutoring classes, or class conversations. While chatting on the web, it is especially significant to keep our communication brief. Very few individuals can compose as quickly as they think or talk. There is a chat room in Canvas. If you instructor if your instructor is using this tool, there will be link in the left navigation. Conferences. Conferences are other form of communication and may be called webinars or live online meeting. This form of communication is very similar to chat but may be considered more formal. Typically, the instructor will lead the discussion and may use a whiteboard or upload a presentation to be used while they deliver lectures. Students may be encouraged to participate by speaking via a microphone and writing on the whiteboard. Instructors typically do not require participation in these type of sessions because of the set time requirement, but may record the session for later viewing. Some examples of these form of communication include Blackboard collaboration, Big Blue Button, Adobe Connect, and Google Hangouts. In Canvas, this feature is called Conferences, which does use the Big Blue Button program. If instructors use this feature, they may invite you to participate in the session. A synonymous form of online communication. Email. Email is probably the most common form of communication and is frequently used in online courses. Emails allows you to send private messages to one or more persons in your course. In Canvas, private messages are called conversation and are contained in your inbox located in the help navigation in the upper right corner of the screen. The messages in the inbox are routed to the email address, your LLC email in your profile. You can view the messages by clicking on the inbox or adjust your notification to receive the message in your preferred method. Threaded discussions. These discussions is another type of communication and is often used to promote class discussion. This is an open discussion, meaning that all messages can be seen by everyone in the course or group. Messages in a threaded discussion will appear with the original message at top level, and all replies are indented under the original message. This makes it easier to see how the conversations progressed over time. In Canvas discussions or called discussions, and instructors may use discussion as a form of assessment. You can view a practice discussion to see how a graded discussion may appear. Blogs. Blogs are an online journal kept by one person or a group of people. Most blogs allows comments from the community. Some common software that is used by people who blog are blogger.com or and wordpress.com. Canvas does not have a blog tool. Wikis. Wikis is similar to blogs but is basically a web page the community edits on certain subjects. All edits to the page are noted by date and who makes the edits. Probably the most famous wiki is Wikipedia. In Canvas instructors can allow students to edit used pages in Canvas. If instructor allows this, they will give you direction on what you are do, and when you are viewing the wiki page, there will be an edit button on right sidebar. All edits to the page will be noted just as they are in other wikis. Asynchronous video. Canvas allows faculty and students to create media comments using audio and video with your microphone and webcam. This allows a course to have a sense of community without using synonymous forms of communication. Now, hybrid forms of communication. Collaborations are a type of communication that is often synonymous or asynchronous. Some online equipment such as Google Docs, Drive, or Etherpad permits the trainer and people to modify documents at exactly the same time. For example, Google Docs has a comment system that shows color highlighting and reviews of each individual who is modifying the document at the exact same time. You do not always need to be on the web at the same time to modify report this way. The color highlighting will even show when individuals update the document enormously. Advantages. The internet is playing a big role in how people communicate with each other in today's world. It has authorized people to correspond with each other in quicker, more efficient, and ways that are often inexpensive. We have moved from a verbal and hard copy society to that of online communication. We make use of email and instant messengers to stay in touch with family, friends, and even business associates. Not just do these new kinds of communications bring modifications, in the real way people connect, they also bring new hurdles in communication, such as the incapability to see and hear users as they write to us. There are both advantages and drawbacks to online communication, but irrespective, this kind of correspondence is getting more and more popular. Email communication is now used by thousands and thousands of people every day. They use it to send paperwork for business or school, to catch up on the trending news, meet friends and family, or to send photos, messages, or forwards. The advantages of emails are countless. In one session, in their email account, people can compose a letter for someone, submit it over the wires, and the person they are writing to will get it in a matter of seconds. It is incredible, and it takes place without the usage of paper, pen, envelope, and stamps. The mediator is completely removed and there is no postal service required. People save money and time in communicating with each other. People who use email don't only have the choice of writing to others, they also can send them other things online. They can send pictures in emails, send e-greeting card through emails, and send links to the other websites they may across that are interesting or useful to the people with who they are interacting. Email is easily available to anybody who can net access also. There are several free email sites such as Yahoo, Gmail, and Hotmail. These email facility providers have been creating new add-ons to take emailing more enjoyable, more user-friendly, and to add to the appeal that is visual of. Add-on like as sorting abilities of incoming email, automated junk mail, deletion and address books are useful in the email process and are proving to be a common feature of many major email providers. A very latest development that the instant messenger providers users the chance to speak in real time with people anywhere in the world. Instant messengers are quite accepted nowadays because of the various benefits that are involved with operating them. Instant messengers permit users to chat with each other as if they were having a mobile phone conversation. One individual types something or sends it, the other individual receives it instantly, reads it, and responds back. People can speak to their mates in the same building, their mother in a different state, or their friend who lives in America. The best part about this capability to speak to anyone, any place, is that there are no extensive phone bills. You can talk to whoever you want, wherever you want, as long as you have the internet connection. Another specialized attribute of instant messenger is that you can use emo emotions plus icons to express feelings and other actions. Emojis are graphics that appears after the user has entered into a code. For example, if you type smiley, a face will appear. If you type a face that is winking, will appear. Shows a smiley face thinking out in the tongue. Instant messengers also enable the differentially able to connect with others. Also, people who cannot speak for can also use instant messengers or IMS to communicate with friends and relatives. While phone conversations and face to face interaction enable us to hear, see each other, our body language, gestures, and facial expressions, often we feel more comfortable communicating with people when we can't see or hear them. For example, sometimes it is easier for people to talk about problems they are having. At times, speaking about difficult issues can be tough for some people. Best of all, because of majority of IMS or instant messengers are totally free, communicating with them is not only fast but it's also cheap. Disadvantages: the internet has paved ways for people to get nearer. Rather than spending money on mobile phone services, people in diverse states and even different countries can hop on messenger services, social networking, or email to exchange ideas. The internet allows people to search old buddies, schoolmates, and family members or meet like minded yet unknown people. Removes non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is a vital part in communicating successfully. Non-verbal signs can include gestures or facial expressions. Non-verbal communication can be useful while expressing even a joke. Without facial language, hand gestures, or even a laugh aloud, the receiver may not perceive the humor. Remains text based. Online communication is largely text based, meaning you type the majority of your chat. There are some exceptions like video chat, but for the most other form like forums, social networking, and messenger facilities, it utilize written communication. Online communication can be frustrating for individuals who are not good at expressing themselves through written words. This can lead to miscommunication or misunderstandings on how sometime was supposed to be interpreted. Is time consuming. Online communication needs more time than a live or telephone conversation as it takes time to type, wait for a response, and then type again, which interrupts the flow of the conversation. Email is particularly time consuming because one has to type half of the conversation, send it, and anticipate a response. Depending on the time it takes for the receiver to perceive, read, and type on one's own response, a person may wait a few hours or even a few days to complete a conversation contains false identities. Online communication can offer a certain to a genuine person's identity. This is very frequent in chat rooms or online dating situations where individuals represent themselves as someone else in order to gain a person's attention and trust. Online communication restricts people to see each other or to speak in person. Therefore, it is easier for someone to fake one's identity for someone else. Is impersonal. Online communication curves the user to see each other or speak face to face. So the use of video chat may allow user to converse face to face virtually. Chat rooms and email does not always allow it. And online companionship does not have the same contact question as a physical one, such as meeting up in person, contacting over the telephone, and having a conversation. New media as a source of information to social networking sites. Social media networks are examples of new media which are digital, interactive, hypertextual, globally networked, virtual, and sometimes based on simulation. These are the six key characteristics which distinguish new media from old media, digital. With the growth of digital technology in 90s, the vast majority of information is now converted, stored, and transmitted as a binary code, a series of ones and ones. Qualitative information has today become digitalized. Digitalization, what allows so much information to be stored in compact hard disks or micro memory cards. And it is also what allows for the near instantaneous transmission of information via cable and satellite. Digitalization has also resulted in technological convergence or the convergence of different forms of information into one single system. Most websites today offer a fusion of text and audiovisual information, and our website devices allow us to perform a variety of functions, not only reading text and watching, listening to videos, but also searching for information, sending messages, shopping, and using GPS functions. Analog is the opposite of digital. It is stored in physical form, and examples include print newspapers, records, and old films and TV programs stored on tape. Interactivity. Old media tended to be very much a one way affair, with audiences on the receiving end of broadcast for the most part able to do little else that just passively watch media content. New media, however, is much more of a two-way affair, and it allows consumers and users to get more involved. It is much more of a two-way form of communication than old media. Increased interactivity can be seen in simple acts such as liking a Facebook post or commenting on news piece or blog. However, some users get much more involved and creates their own blogs and videos and actively upload their own content as prosumers. New media seems to have fostered a major participatory culture with more people involved and the roles between consumer and producer of media content becoming ever more blurred. Hypertext or links are common feature of new media which allows user to navigate the different sources of information available to them. In more technical terms, links in websites offer non-sequential connections between all kind of data facilitated by the computer. Optimists tend to see this feature as following as allowing for more individualized lifestyle choices, giving users the chance to act more independently and to make the most of the opportunities new media markets make available to them. Global networks. Digital media has also facilitated cultural globalization. We now interact much more globally and via virtual networks of people rather than locally. These networks allows for collective intelligence to increase. They allow us to pool our resources much more easily and to draw on a wider range of talents and resources of information depending on our needs than ever before. And if one question to ask about networks is what the main hubs are through which information flows. These has implications for power. Virtual world. New media presents to us a very different reality from face to face to lived reality. For most of us, this means a very fast paced flow of information with numerous products and people screaming for our attention. Simulation. Simulation goes a step beyond the virtual nature of new media. As usual, simulation is most obviously experienced computer games which provide an immersive experience for users into a virtual life that is simulated through digital technology. These virtual worlds are synthetic creations that ultimately really of algorithms which set the parameters through which events in the gaming environment unfold. Examples today include not only online RPG games but also driving and fighting simulations. Types of new media. Blogs. Information in blogs is easily accessed and searched for, and everything is typically organized naturally. For instance, blogs posts are often nested under categories, and users can navigate posts by specific category, tag, or via search. So, some social media platform entries often contain mixed media such as photos and videos to go along with text. Blogs can also be interactive despite some variants. For instance, the most popular type of news coverage for blogs is overwhelmingly politics and foreign events. Virtual reality. Virtual reality technologies simulate an environment along with the user's physical presence and sensory experience. Commonly, the user experiences virtually reality through a spatial headset or on a computer screen. Seemingly limitless applications for virtual reality exist. In virtual reality, users can cycle through the Himalayas, consider purchasing real estate that hasn't been built, yet set a 360-degree film or train as a sniper. All virtual reality delivers a highly interactive, immersive experience that places the user in a lifelike or fictional environment. Some say that virtual reality's unrivaled level of immersion qualifies it as the ultimate medium in new media. Virtual reality may be poised to become the future of new media. Media and entertainment companies are investing in virtual reality and planning for it to become the next entertainment platform. Social media. Social media centers on creating, sharing, and exchanging information, ideas, and content in online networks and communities highly interactive. Social media is a form of new media that relies heavily on the participation of user to provide value. Online newspapers. Online newspapers are considered new media for many of the same reasons as blogs. Online newspapers blend multiple types of media and are easily accessed and searched. Users can also interact with some online newspaper via a comment feature. Online newspaper along with social media and other form of new media are a major part of why traditional newspapers are shifted to digital form. Digital games. Digital games are a part of everyday media culture and a unique type of new media. Digital and games game words open up culture spaces themselves, and unlike other media and virtual environments, these spaces are framed as playful from the outset. Johannes from and Alexander write in the book Computer Games and New Media Culture. Digital games are also noteworthy for how they build interaction and community. The industry is producing a steady stream of games that continue to expand their nature and impact. They can artistic, social, and collaborative, with many allowing massive numbers of people from all over the world to participate simultaneously. Certain type of game demonstrate the possibilities of new media. Massively multiplayer online role-playing games immerse gamers in virtual worlds that are built upon social interaction, and these artificial worlds have their own structure, culture, ethos, economy, and politics. Tingy and Boston write another example is how live video game streaming services are rising in popularity. This trend has led to a legitimate new sport called esports or video games as professional spectator sports. Impact of new media. The impact of this new media on society is varied in both positive and negative outlooks. Internet makes everyone a publisher and everyone a librarian. In that everyone can both produce and retrieve an unprecedented amount of information. The gatekeeping and agenda setting functions of the traditional media establishments are bypassed in favor of search engine and directories. Ideally, this means that any person with internet access can gain information about any issue, event, or place without the restrictions of time, expense, geography, and politics that used to limit such information gathering. By chatting with strangers in chat rooms and reading international newspapers online, we believe that we are learning about foreign culture and perspectives directly from the sources. What is new in the type of communication is the young people today, and not only they, are happy to decide for themselves what is credible or worthwhile and what is not. The old media model was there is one source of truth. The new media model is there are multiple sources of truth, and we will sort it out. The mass media audience is no longer a captive. Today's media consumer is unique, demanding, and engaged. This has profound implications for traditional business model in the media industry, which are based on aggregating large passive audiences and holding them captive during advertising interruptions. In the new media era, audiences will occasionally be large but often small. The usually tiny. In fact, the internet does provide ample opportunity to gain knowledge about faraway places and offers a means of interactive across geographical expanses. In the sense, it is an ideal medium for establishing the sort of cyber peace that is so earnestly desired. By personalizing news portal, etc., the user is able to completely isolate himself or herself from issues that require knowledge and experience. There is a loss of personal one-on-one interaction with real-time voice calls being replaced by multimedia messages. However, real-time video calls are empowering people to not only talk to each other while on the move, but also see what each other means through their facial expressions and mannerism. Camera phones and recorders permits users to abuse the technology by taking away privacy rights. However, they also allow the opportunity for the moral user of capture social movements. Furthering this, mobile phone convergence enables greater freedom for the user as they can access their emails, video conference without being chained to the office. However, it makes them answerable to the workplace as they can always be reached through any communication. Social media. Social media is a collective term for websites and applications that focus on communication, community based input, interaction, content sharing, and collaboration. People use social media to stay in touch and interact with friends, family, and various communities. Businesses use social applications to market and promote their products and track customer concerns. Business to consumer websites include social components such as common fields for users. Various tools helps businesses track, measures, and analyze the attention the company gets from social media, including brand perception and customer insight. Social media has enormous transaction globally. Mobile applications make these platforms easily accessible. Some popular examples of general social media platforms include Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. In business, social media is used to market products, promote brands, connect to customers, and foster new business. As a communication platform, social media promotes customer feedback and makes it easy for customers to share their experiences with a company. Businesses can respond quickly to positive and negative feedback, address customer problems, and maintain or rebuild customer confidence. Social media is also used for crowdsourcing. That's the practice of using networking to gather knowledge, goods, or services. Companies use crowdsourcing to get ideas from employees, customers, and general public for improving products or developing future products or services. Birth of social media. The first social media site that everyone can agree actually was social media was a website called 6 Degree. It was named after the 6 degree of separation theory and lasted from 1997 to 2001. 6 Degree allowed users to create a profile and then friend other user. It displayed friend lists. 6 Degree even allowed those who did not register as user to confirm friendship and connected quite a few people this way. Despite attracting millions of users, it could not get the request funding or advertising to sustain its business model and it shut down in 2000. Era of blogging and instant messaging. The term blog is a form or the phrase weblog, which was coined by John Berger, an early blogger that was the editor of the site Robot Wisdom. Elder blogging may not seem like social media, precisely the term fits because people were suddenly able to communicate with a blog other instantly as well as other readers. By the year 2000, around 100 million users looked at as an odd hobby. More and more people began to utilize chat rooms for making friends, dating, and discussing topics that they wanted to talk about. But the huge boom of social media will still to came. Post blogging, blogging, MySpace, and LinkedIn gained prominence in the early 2000s. Photo Bucket and Flickr facilitated online photo sharing. YouTube came out in 2005, creating an entirely new way for people to communicate and share with each other across great distances. But Before FB and Twitter in 2001, Rich.com was launched by Edwin Scott. The idea was to make connections and grow personal networks. Scott introduced Rich to his friends, who later became the entrepreneurs and investors in Friendster, Tribe.net, and LinkedIn. Friendster had a meteoric rise and equally precipitous fall. Friendster. The service allowed users to connect other members, maintain those contacts, and share online content and media with those contacts. The website was also used for dating and discovering new events, bands, and hobbies. Users could share videos, photos, messages, comments with other members via profiles and networks. It is considered one of the original social networks. Friendster was redesigned and relaunched of Friendster as a social gaming platform in June 2011. The company operated mainly from three Asian countries, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore. And over 90% of the site's traffic came from Asia. Why Friendster failed? They had huge service problems. They would deliberately delete accounts that seemed suspicious to them, hence, customers on June 14, 2015, Friendster, sitting the involving landscape in our challenging industry and lack of engagement by the online community, suspended their services. Facebook and Twitter. By 2006, Facebook and Twitter both become available to users throughout the world. These sites remain some of the most popular social networks on the internet. Other sites like Tumblr, Spotify, Foursquare begin popping up to fill specific social network. 2003, the first social media search MySpace, started by a group of e-universe employees with Friendster popular features, co-founded by Tom Anderson. They wanted to attract and alienated users of Friendster. In 2004, there was a mass influx of teenagers into MySpace. By 2005, it was so popular that new corporation bought in $580 million in July that year. In 2006, it had reached 100 million account mark. LinkedIn, another website that was one of the beginning social media website was LinkedIn. LinkedIn was and is still is meant for professional business people to connect with each other to network, find jobs and socialize. Facebook and Twitter. In 2004, Facebook was launched just for our students. Within 24 hours, 1400 members. After 1 month, half of the advert on Facebook. In August 2005, the domain name purchase was facebook.com for $200,000. Zuckerberg saw the potential and released the service to the world at the website facebook.com. Facebook soon became the social media giant that had set the bar for all other social media services. It is a number one social media website and it currently boasts over a billion users. In 2006, the popularity of text messaging or SMS inspired Jack Dorsey, Bridgestone, Noah Glass, and even Williams to create Twitter, a service that had the unique distinction of allowing users to send tweets of 140 now 280 characters or less. Today, Twitter has over 500 million users. In 2006, it expanded its policy to include anyone with a valid email ID. April 2008, Facebook overtook MySpace traffic. around 2010 the rest of the pack. Flickr was one of the earliest and still is one of the most popular photo sharing sites. Tumblr, a microblogging website, started in 2007. Foursquare was quite a popular website for a while, particularly with smartphones being used so extensively. And then there is Pinterest, Spotify, and many others. Some of the most popular social media platforms in the late 2000s are included Google Buzz, Looped, Blippy, and GroupOpen. Types of social networking site. Social networks, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, used to associate with individuals on the web, help your business via branding, social awareness, relationship building, customer service, lead generation, and conversion. Media sharing, networks, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube used to find and share photographs, live video, and other kind of media on the web. Help in brand building, lead generation, targeting, and so on. Give individuals and brands a place to discover and share media so that target audience can be targeted and converted into a convincing and result driven way possible. Discussion forums. Reddit, Quora, Digi used for finding, sharing, and discussing different kinds of information, opinions, and news help businesses by being a top-notch resource for doing speculate market research. Bookmaking, a content curation network. Pinterest, Flipboard help you find out, share, discuss, and save a variety of latest content and media that are trending as well. They are very helpful in channelizing brand awareness for your business. Plus, choosing this one to run different type of social media marketing campaigns will help you generate website traffic and customer engagement. Use of social networking site. Provide free web space. Members of these sites don't need to own or share web servers. They can publish their content on the free space provided by these sites. Provide free web address. Members are allotted a unique web address that becomes the web industry of an individual or a business. It can be used to identify, connect, and share content. Ask members to build profiles. These sites require members to build their profiles. Information entered in a profile is used to connect friends and contacts and build networks that connect people with similar likes and interests across the world. Encourage members to upload content. These sites allow members to upload text messages, photographs, audio, and video files. All posts are published in descending order with the last post coming first. Most important, all content is published in real time and can be read, viewed, or shared instantly. Allow members to build conversation. Members can browse content and comment upon it. By doing so, social media sites allow members to engage in conversations that increase engagement. Allow live chats. Several social media sites have chat clients that enable members to chat with each other in real time. Direct messaging facility. Several social media sites provide direct messaging facility to their members. This allows members to send private messages which can be read or viewed only by those for whom the message is intended. Provide tagging alerts. More social media sites alert members through email or in site notification whenever they are tagged in a message or in a photograph. Enable members to create unique pages on some social media sites. Member can create theme-based pages. The pages can then be used to post article or photographs related to a theme. The pages can also be used to promote business. User-based online social networks, on the other hand, are built and directed by users themselves. Without the users, the network would be an empty space filled with empty forums, applications, and chat rooms. Users populate the network with conversations, and content. The direction of the content is determined by anyone who takes part in the discussion. This is what makes social networks so much more exciting and dynamic for internet user. Interactive. This means that a social network is not just a collection of chat rooms and forums anymore. These social networks are quickly becoming a pastime that more people are choosing over television because it's more than just entertainment. It's a way of connect and have fun with friends. Community drive. Social networks are built and thrive from community concepts. This means that just like communities or social groups around the world are founded on the fact that members hold common beliefs or hobbies, social networks are based on the same principle within most modern online social network today. You will find sub communities of people who share commonalities such as alumni of a particular high school. Not only can you discover new friends within these interest based communities, but you can also reconnect with old friends that you lost contact with many years ago. Relationships. The more relationships that you have within the network, the more established you are towards the center of that network. Like the concept, most pyramid schemes are focused on within online social networks. The concept really works in a powerful way when you have just 20 contacts and you publish a note or an update on that page. That content proliferates out across a network of contacts and subcontacts that's much larger than you may realize. Emotion over content. Another unique characteristic of social networks is the emotional factor. While websites of the past were focused primarily on providing information to a visitor, the social network actually provides users with emotionally security and a sense that no matter what happens with friends are within easy reach. Now, summarize this topic. Despite certain cons of using email and instant messenger, both communication medias, today, more and more people use email and instant messengers to communicate with each other. They give people the chance to with correspond with one another in fast, most effective ways. The problems posed against these two mediums are real and do need to be addressed. However, if users of email and instant messengers are aware of the potential problems and know how to avoid deal with them, using these modes of communication should prove to be helpful in conversing with friends and family around the globe. The rise of new media has increased communication between people all over the world and the internet. It has allowed people to express themselves through blogs, websites, videos, pictures, and other user generated media. Tariff Liu stated that as new technology developed, the world became more globalized. Social media is everywhere. Individuals and businesses of all sizes and types use it. It's a critical resource for engaging with customers, getting customer feedback, and expanding company viability. An, ex- an effective social strategy can enhance an organization's reputation and build trust and awareness among a growing network of connections. While some are more tailored to B2B promotion, no platform are off limits. 6 degree were followed by a social networking site based on the social circle network model, a slightly different approach than the 6 degree of separation model. Instead of connecting with people you see as first, second, or third degree connections, social circle networks allows you to connect with anyone you know, whether they are best friends or not. To highlight how social media has evolved, let's make a look at a few of the seminar platforms that help the social media phenomenon take off. That's all. Thank you.